Hello everyone, Lily here. Welcome to my channel. And today I thought I would jump in and respond to the videos that Will from Atypical Tarot and Anna from Astral Lady Tarot did a couple of weeks ago, which is called the 13 Tarot Tubes question. So let's dive right in. So question number 1, favorite videos to watch. I actually enjoy a lot of tarot too, but I also listen to a lot of crafting video when the mood strikes me, especially if I'm working on certain projects. I actually like to listen to knitting and sewing videos. So that's one thing. But when it comes to tarot specifically, I like deck reviews, deck unboxings sometimes, deck collections, when people explain how they use tarot spreads is one I like too. And as to specific times of the year, I'm a big fan of Vlogmas, and that's one of the reasons why I stayed away from actually making videos, is I've been following daily videos that, you know, like Vlogmas in December, there's Vlogtober. It seems that we've coming up with ones almost every month. Like I know there will be one in February. So I like to see how people go about their daily lives, especially for Christmas. And like I said, I like daily videos with daily prompts. Like last year, I think we did have a Vlogmas for tarot, and Ethany had been hosting. And I don't know why she didn't this year, but you know, the 31 days of tarot in January, and years back there was like the March of the Pips, which was daily prompts that had to do with Tarot de Marseille. So that's the kind of thing I like to watch. Favorite videos to film. I'm not equipped to do a lot of videos, and it requires a lot of setup for me when I do a video. So that's one of the reasons why I don't do many. And actually, I think my favorite videos to do are video responses. It's one of the things because the prompts are there. And yeah, I think that's, you know, that's pretty much my favorite ones, as well as, you know, showing videos of decks that I have and maybe do like mini reviews and stuff like that. Number 3. What are your least favorite videos to watch? Right now, I don't know why YouTube started doing this, but honestly, those 1-minute videos, as far as I'm concerned, just pollute my feed. And anybody that I was subscribed to that started doing mainly those YouTube shorts, I've deleted because I mean, they're a waste of time. Number 1. Number 2, that I really don't like are lives, with exceptions. I don't mind lives if there are interviews. That's one thing, and if they're really focused. You know, like the ones, you know, the kind of thing I actually like to watch. It's like the three fat readers is one that I like. And the 3 girls 1 deck is another one that I like, and Sadhana of Integrative Tarot, I think her channel name, she'll do deep dives that I enjoy that are live. But apart from that, I find a lot of the lives are just, pardon my French, shit shows. You know, there's too many distractions. Half the time the host is just reading comments off, which, you know, obviously, you know, if I understand why they have to read the comments, but I've already read the comment. They don't have to read it back to me. So that's one of the things too that I find super annoying. So there you go. So that's, you know, the 2 things that I don't like to watch: shorts, video, and lives. And I'm also not a big fan of pick a card readings or watching people do I mean, you know, people can ask questions and have cards pulled for them. That's another thing that I don't really like because I find them boring. So Question number 4. What is your favorite part of the tarot community? For the most part, I think the tarot community, a lot of people like to share what they know. And they're not shy about sharing, for the most part. You know, everybody, I think, has a perspective that they can share. And it's always interesting to see the different points of view. So, number 5. What is your least favorite part of the tarot community? I find it can be a little bit cliquish. And if you happen, and some of them actually, if they decide to turn against you, they, you know, I've witnessed some pretty vicious ganging up on people just because they said something, and just because they expressed an opinion that some people didn't agree with, and, you know, took it too far. The other thing that is my least favorite part of the tarot community is that when it comes to talking about decks, people aren't, unless it's positive, they don't say anything. You know, they won't even admit that they don't like a deck, which, you know, it's like as if, you know, creators of decks and people like that are so fragile that someone can't say, well, I'm sorry, this deck is not for me. So I find that we could do with a little bit more honesty when we talk about our decks. So, number 6, what motivated you to start your channel? Well, here we are. That's one of the things is why I started my channel, is at the time I had bought 2 decks. That listening to people online, people were just gushing about these decks, and when I started working with them, they just weren't working for me. And again, one of them is because people didn't want to hurt, even though they paid like $80 for a deck, they didn't want to hurt the creator's feelings that they didn't like it, or that some of the decks didn't make any sense. And again, I find that it's a disservice, you know. So that's basically what motivated me to start my channel, is I wanted to see a little bit, you know, like a different point of view on some of these decks. Number 7, who most inspires you on YouTube? And actually, who doesn't inspire me? I find that it's always fun to see what people come up with. And in my case, I actually come to YouTube a lot for ideas on my crafting and, you know, working with my hobbies and finding ideas. You know, like I was talking about knitting, excuse me. I was talking about knitting, watching knitting podcasts, and actually lately I've been watching a lot of those because I'm looking for a pattern to knit myself a sweater. So, like I said, you know, like it's very inspiring to see what people are up to, and it does take courage to put yourself out there. So, number 8. Number 1 thing you would change about the YouTube community. YouTube community, oh, if there's one thing, it's this sense of hustle culture. My sense is that, and, you know, it's not specific to the tarot community, but, you know, like I've seen it in the other channels I watch that aren't tarot specific, is eventually it looks like a lot of people seem to get on here to the point that they can monetize their channel. And, you know, like it starts out that people, yes, you know, they come in because they want to share, but it always seems that at the back of their mind is that they want to make money at some point. You know, at some point it always comes to the point where someone will put out a product that they, you know, to sell you. I understand why, you know, people always want to make money. There's reasons for that. There's, you know, like structural economic reasons why people want to bring in a little bit of money. But at some point it gets annoying, is basically what it is, that you know, like it's only a matter of time before someone tries to sell you something, or their channel goes on Patreon because they want to be paid monthly. So I don't know where people got the idea that everything they do needs to bring in money, but you know, it like I said, it gets annoying. So I don't know if anybody has any thoughts about that, but that is something I notice a lot. So anyway, moving on. Number 9. Number one advice for other creators, new people starting out a channel. I'll say, you know what? Just start with what you have, what equipment you have. Don't start buying cameras and all this equipment to film videos so that you can look more professional. I mean, I think the one thing you need to decide is if you're gonna like it to start with, because it can be a lot of work. Like I mentioned, my setup here, you know, I don't have the space to have a dedicated space just for videos, so it means moving a little bit of furniture around, figuring out the light. I have to wait for the sun on a day where you know, the light is good so I can film in this room. Otherwise, you know, it's not possible. And actually, you know, I don't want to do not want to invest any more money than I have to for this. You know, like, I know myself, I know that I'm not consistent when it comes to my hobbies, and this is one of my hobbies. And you know, unless I made the intention of doing a video every week or every month, which I know I won't do. I mean, you know what? I don't need a day job. And so, you know what? I'm not going to invest in anything. So I'm still using an iPhone, and I have this you know, a little tripod that I paid $20 that is also a selfie stick. And if I'm going to do top-down videos, I put that same selfie stick in a jug with a bowl of rice, with rice on top to hold it in place. And, you know, there you have it. Equipment set up. Number 10. What do you like about YouTube as a whole? What I like about YouTube as a whole is that anyone can come on here and talk about what they want. And their subject can be as obscure as, I don't know, discussing the electrical system in a squid, to, you know, news and general affairs and stuff like that. You know, like, I've been watching, not so much now, but for a certain period of time, I was actually watching some channels where it was just people talking, you know, doing commentaries on what was happening in politics. And before YouTube, who could do that? You know, you had to be hired by a TV network, was the most you could hope for. Even, you know, even local channels. Like, I know here, you know, our cable system, Rogers, they have actually a studio where they actually do some shows. People don't get paid. And actually, sometimes I wonder if people don't actually pay to have their own shows on that channel. So, yeah. So the thing is, you know, if anybody knows the comedian Tom Green, that's how he started out in Ottawa. By having a weekly show on Friday nights here locally. So anyway, so I find that YouTube has the same effect, but on a grander scale. But a creator doesn't have to be a professional to do it. So number 11. What is a deck divination/divination tool you use alone but don't show or use online? And actually, this is it's actually called muscle testing, and it's sort of like using your body as a pendulum, or your fingers. So if anybody uses a pendulum, you know, you hold your pendulum, and your arm, if you ask a question, your arm will actually make the pendant move in a certain way to give you the answer. Well, I can actually do the same thing. I've learned to do the same thing, but with my fingers. So, and there's several methods, but the ones I use is basically, you know, like show me yes, show me no. Show me yes, show me no. So the thing is this is something that I use often enough. I learned to do this for health reasons, because it's actually good for you to determine. It's a tool you can use to figure out things that are good for you, that bring you energy, and foods that are not good for you. But the thing is I started using it with when I do readings, especially when I'm not sure about a certain like if I get a card and there's 3 ways I could interpret it and I'm not sure, well, then I can use my muscle testing on the spot and say, well, is it answer number 1? Is it answer number 2? Is it answer number 3? So there's a little ritual to do before you do these things, and also depending on how invested you are in the question or what you want the answer to be, your mind can override it. So it's actually pretty good. It's actually better if you're not emotionally invested in the question. So that is one of the things that I do, that I use for myself. People actually don't notice it that much, although my husband does, because sometimes he'll see me do this, and, you know, and he'll say, "What question are you asking?" So anyway, if people want to hear more about it, let me know. Number 12. What is a deck you want but won't buy because you don't support the creator publisher? And I'll be honest with you here. I'm not au courant to you know, the private lives of creators. So I wouldn't necessarily know unless it's something that is being talked about by everybody and everywhere. Otherwise, I wouldn't notice it. You know, outside of tarottube and some groups on Facebook, a lot of my social media is not geared towards tarot and creators and how they live their lives. Even, you know, like the tarot community as a whole, like if I'm on Twitter, I don't have any accounts that I have, you know, that are related to tarot, except for maybe Annabelle Wen and Kellyanne Maddox. I mean, those are the 2. Everybody else, I'm not following. So if they come up with a controversial tweet or controversial comment on Instagram or something like that, I'm not going to see it. So I really don't know. 13. What has been your most memorable experience being part of tarottube? I don't know, actually. I'm just very pleased when someone actually remembers that my name is Lily. Oh, and actually, you know what? One of the things I'm actually like was actually one of the memorable ones is actually people also finding my channel name, that Carlet, how they like it. You know, like that's pleased, and I'm actually, you know, like I was chuffed when actually Annabelle Wen was in an interview and you know, I asked a question or something like that, and so she said, "Oh, should I like that name?" You know, so I think that would be one of them. And yeah, so I'm not that social, so I can't say that like, you know, everybody's friendly and everything like that, but I haven't had contacts with other tarot tubers that other people enjoy. So, and you know, that's the way it is. But I'm not on here as often as other people. So, and I think was the last one. So I'm going to leave it here, and until next time, have a good day.